a man whose pedigree, a man whose commitment of service, a man whose dedication and service delivery, a man whose vision for the good of the people has always been the drive that has been driving him to where we are today. And just some couple of days ago, to the glory of God, he clocked 80. And you want to rekindle the nostalgic memories of yesteryears with such a man of high integrity, whose intelligence, competence, and capability cannot be undermined. I will take his profiling in the discuss with him one after the other, in sharing with us what life challenges has been like, in letting us understand the philosophy of his life, of course what has been his guiding principle of life, and how far this far he has come in terms of service to humanity. What we called it an insightful leadership in service delivery to humanity. That is what this is all about. And it is a great honor to have you sit there conveniently in the comfort of your home. And of course, when I come back, you get to meet my guest. Across the world, wherever you are watching us, this is Issues and Trends, reaching you from the broadcasting station of Lagos Television. I thank you very sincerely for the honor of having you join us again today. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. Well, for my guest today, some will tell you, do I need to introduce him again to anyone? Why? Because his records, his testimonials, all speaks for him. But some again will say, not minding, we still can also take a profile in so that people can understand who I'm talking about. Well, he's a Democrat, there is no doubt about that. He's equally an outstanding administrator. He's a lawyer by his calling. He's equally a politician of reckoning. He's a bureaucrat and one-time Honorable Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Relations in Lagos State. He was also a former diplomat who served outside the shores of this country, representing Nigeria on an ambassadorial level. His philosophy of life we will share together today. And of course, he's an advocate of justice, another perspective of his life that we'll be talking about. But again, plus minus, here is a man who for so many years as a politician served the Progressive as the immediate past chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC in Lagos State for so many years, if I'm correct, 12 years plus, absolutely, that he has served. And today, clocking 80, to a lot of people, is clinging the glasses in honor of this fine gentleman who is still serving the interest of humanity and mankind. My guest is Honorable. You can call him that. He's chief. He also qualifies to be that. But above all, some will say Otumba. Well, let's say Otumba Chief Honorable Henry Oladile Ajomale as my guest here today. I must thank you. I must thank you. Sincerely, I must thank you for this honor. You just clocked 80. Let's say congratulations on this landmark of a lifetime in service to humanity. How does it make you feel, or how do you feel? You're not looking 80. What's the secret of this? You're not looking it.
Well, 80 is a number. And I'm very happy, I'm very proud that God has done so well for me that I don't feel it, and I feel very strong, and I feel very happy that God has done so well for me that I have not been to be admitted into hospital for several years. I can't even remember whether I was in the hospital before or not. But I go to the hospital for checkup every time. So I'm happy that, and some people say age is in the mind.
Age is in the mind.
But I feel very strong, very happy. And then I hope that God will continue to strengthen me, body and soul, and can still continue to do what I know how to do best.
Today is not about talking about issues of socio-cultural political setting of the Nigerian state. Today is celebrating you and talking about you, as I said earlier. So let's begin by looking at this understanding. One of the most famous billionaire in the world today, in the person of Warren Buffett, said something. What defines a man is intelligence, energy, and integrity. But he said, when energy, when intelligence is there, but integrity is not there, that you don't have such a, you don't need to give such a person any reckoning of reference. Do you agree with that?
Oh, yes.
That integrity counts?
Oh, sure. That's very important. But unfortunately now, I don't think integrity means so much in Nigeria. Because whatever a man is, if he doesn't have integrity, then he cannot be considered to be a man or gentleman or whatever. Because when we were young, we were told very sternly that you must know where you are coming from. In Yoruba Palace, they always say that not your humanity won't. And
remember the son of whom you are.
Whom you are. And, we know that now that is not so much important to some people, but we still cherish that because that was how we were brought up. But now people will go to prison, you come out now, you will still receive him with drums, you roll out drums and food, entertainment, and even give him a chieftaincy title. So to me, I think we are retrogressing from our cultural
values and virtues?
Cultural values that they trained us with when we were young. That your name is very important. But now, and that equal to integrity, because you want to ensure that whatever you do, you must be careful.
Whatever you do, you must be careful of who you are.
And then you ensure that you keep that integrity to yourself and to your family. And that is why your family will be very proud of you. A name is very, very important in the Yoruba culture. But not now, because they have bastardized it. But it's that integrity is the most important thing, not your money. Not the money, not what you have achieved in terms of materials and others. Integrity is number one. Whatever you are, ensure that people can trust you and can value you, and whatever you say is respected. But when you lose it, you lose integrity, I know more important anymore. But nowadays, they have bastardized that. That integrity is the most important one.
I'll come back to that with due respect to you, sir, but let us also take it from another angle here. Someone said to me that a man's belief tells anyone who that man what that man represents. That a man's beliefs actually drives him with what he does and how he or she interfaces with others in life. For you, when you're asked about this, what beliefs drive you? What values drive you? What virtues of life drives your energy in the service of humanity that you have committed yourself to?
You must allow people to trust you. And you must be sincere and honest in your relationship with men and God. If you are not sincere to God, I wonder how God can bless you. If you are not sincere with your fellow men, I don't know how they can respect you. Invariably, you find out that you still come back to integrity. Whatever I want to achieve, what I cannot do to myself, I will not do it to another fellow man, which is to me my motto. Do unto yourself what you can do to others. So if I cannot betray my friends, if I cannot betray my neighbor, I think if we all go through this, perhaps Nigeria or the world can be better. It's not your money that is important. Because when you are coming, you did not bring money. And when you are going, you certainly will not take anything away. So whatever you do it well. And let people have your impact. And in your life, and in the life of others, you must be able to impact on them. Because whatever God has blessed you with, you must be able to share it. Whatever it is. Not only material gain or material issue, but whatever you have, you must extend it to your neighbor. That is how God bless you. God will continue to bless such people. You may not have a cupboard today, but whatever you have, share it. So that everybody is happy.
Your story tells a lot of a man who was determined and has been determined in spite of the vicissitudes of life challenges at one time or the other. Available record shows that you were resilient, you were committed, you were determined to say that no, rather than give up in life. You will forge on with those challenges of the time to become successful. And today, it is a story to tell. Today, it is a story that others are emulating. Today, you are having cause to glorify God. What has the journey been like? Was the journey smooth? From what we are told, I know what I'm saying. But today, people can see. But the journey was not that smooth to where you are today. Can you take us through some part of that?
Unless some pretenders will claim to have a smoother ride when they were young. Some of us who were born in Lagos colony in those days, how many people can claim to have money? We were not born with silver spoon in our mouth. And anybody who claims to have that must be a liar. You can count how many people who are rich in Lagos at that time, in Lagos colony. You can count them, your fingers. Some of us, when you were called Atapata Nide, some of us are living in face-to-face house, because that was what our father can afford to build then. And then, after all, we have a roof over our head, which is the most important thing. And we're educated. And I have said it to go to a stage that after secondary school, our parents, my father retired, there's nothing he can do. So we have to search for scholarship until we got one. And that day was the most happiest day of my life, that I can attend the university. And through that, it was rough, but we left the shores of Nigeria at that time, and less than 6 months after we left, that we had a coup in Nigeria. And we came back. Of course, came back with nothing, because where we studied then, the money is not convertible, like those who studied in America or Britain, that their money can be brought to Nigeria and convertible. That time there was none. So we came back. But we were given very sound education. And we came back, we started on our own to build ourselves, got a job almost immediately, and then we did fine until, well, with that, God continued to bless us. We were getting promotion, we were getting so many things that God has blessed us with. Got married to a fantastic woman and a prayerful woman, and we have very beautiful children that I can be very proud of. So, and I trained them to understand that life is not a bed of roses. You must struggle for it. If you want anything, you must, through prayer and struggle, because man will not come to meet you. You must go out for it and search for it. And with prayer, if God decides to bless you, then don't forget that it's not your doing. It's not by your making, but by the will of God.
If God decides to bless you.
Some of us have gone through so many things that you cannot afford to understand that there's a being that is helping you out. And we go to the, and that is the training we give to our children, for them to understand that God in His infinite mercy can make and unmake a man. Anybody who becomes the president today, it's not by his making. Some people have attempted to become president maybe about 10, 15 times. Didn't get that. And somebody tried it once and he got it. So it's not by his will, or by his wish, but by the grace of God. That's what he should understand, that he did not put himself there, but it's by his grace that he's there today. And so many of us, by what we are, is by his grace that we got there. And that is why I will not, I cannot undermine any human being, anybody at all, no matter what, because nobody that God cannot lift.
Nobody that God cannot lift.
There is nobody God cannot lift. But you must walk in his ways before you can expect him to bless you. That is what we are enjoying today, his blessing.
And his grace is sufficient for you. I must thank God for your life in respect of that. But then, for whatever it is, you choose to be a Democrat, you chose to be a progressive, and you have never looked back. And all these years you have been constantly consistent in your pursuit, in your cause, in your belief, in your standing, in your crusade for progressivism and democracy all your life. What necessitated this part of action, and what drives you to have such faith in those beliefs?
If you know where I'm coming from, then you'll understand why we must join the progressive circle or progressive family. Counting, reflecting on your past, I was born And when I was young, I have been in the struggle. When I was in school, secondary school, I was a member of what they call Nigerian Youth Congress.
Nigeria Youth Congress at the time.
At that time. And that Congress, I think it's dead now or moribund, but we know the role we played in 1963 against the military engagements or agreement between Nigeria and Britain, military pacts. And we, as young people then, joined other progressives to fight it, and then we won. We were able to, and since then, some of us see injustice and we fight it. Because if you are not, invariably, it will end up catching up with you.
If you are not.
Yes, invariably it will get on catching up with you. You say, it doesn't concern me. You find out that it's going to concern you, whether you like it or not. We are praying today that you must be praying for this country, and we must be praying for this government, whether we like it or not.
Because we are part of it.
Not so, not that I'm part of it. I've been praying for other governments when they are there. When Obasanjo was there, when Jonathan and others were there, we were praying for them. For this country, I'm praying for them. But whatever happens, don't think you can escape it. You'll be involved in it, whether you like it or not. You will suffer it, whether you like it or not. Because if there is problem in this country now, if there is war in this country, I pray that there never see war again. Because if some people were there in 1967 to 1970, they will know that war is never the option or solution to any problem in this country. So you cannot just be aloof and say it doesn't concern me. It concerns everybody. It concerns all of us. Because when the problem comes, all of us are going to suffer it. For those who are in Biafra, in those days we understand what I'm saying. Look at Gaza. Look at what is going on in Lebanon. Look at what is going on in Ukraine. So,
even Sudan is also there for us to see.
Sudan is there. Sudan used to be peaceful. You go there, Nigeria go there to train their pilots in those days. So we cannot afford. That's why we must be praying for Nigeria every morning. America will wake up in the morning and pray. God bless America. But for us, we condemn our own country. But I believe by prayer, God will answer us and find solution to our problems. Somebody got there about a year and some months, and you expect him to solve all the problems. It's not possible. The man is not a magician. The problem we have been battling with was over 15 years. And we should have corrected it by those in power that they did not. And you expect the present government to be a magician to correct the ills of 15 years in 1 year? I know the country is hard. And the country has always been hard. Anyway, I've been hearing the music Kosolo since 1980 something. And that story still continues and goes around like that. But I don't think criticism is the solution. Why don't those who are criticizing bring an option? Nigeria belongs to all of us. Somebody is there today. Don't consider yourself as a position that it doesn't concern me. Give the man the antidote if you have. Don't just sit down and criticize. It's for the benefit of all of us in Nigeria.
And is that what progressive and democracy should be?
If they can find solution to the problem, why do anybody cares? If you go back, if you can find solution to the problem, whether it's the opposition or the government can find solution, why do you want to be a bystander? Why don't you want to contribute to it? If the man is just a symbol representing you, but when it comes to taking care of all Nigerians, if you have solution, you can't sit down in your room and then be criticizing what is going on. What role have you played?
To contribute to what we say.
Contribute to the progress of this country.
So that is what drives you as a progressive and as a Democrat.
Exactly. And I will continue to support anybody in government. Because that is what the Bible says.
Democratically, progressively, in line with your beliefs.
Exactly. Because Nigeria is more important to me than the man there. If I can pray for him to do well, it will affect me. If I curse him, I will curse Nigeria. And I will curse myself. So that is why you cannot just afford to sit down, go on social media, be criticizing, abusing, and insulting. That is not the solution.
And the solution is in
helping out,
contributing
your
own quota
to the progress of this country. Don't condemn your country. Find solution and help out to solve the problem.
Well, some said you're an advocate of justice. And when we look at your commitment of service for so many years, 12 years plus, as the immediate past chairman of the All Progressives Congress in Lagos State, they said the legacy you left behind was something that cannot be eroded for many years to come, that you left a footprint on the sands of time. To those of such thoughts and thinking, are they right in their thinking to say that?
Well, I did my best. That's all I can say. And I left when the ovation is loudest. I cannot be there forever. And that was why some 8 years ago I decided that enough is enough. I have tried myself to build an institution in Lagos State. And with God's support and the people's support, who are able to achieve it. I'm not the only one. I'm only the head of the team. All of us contributed our quota to ensure that we succeed. And the leadership is very important, very key, because if everything goes wrong, it's coming to affect the person in charge. So the same thing in government. If the ministers mess up, it's still going to affect the head, which is the president. Whatever the progress the ministers, those who are supporting it, can helping him as government, I've done it too. For 8 years I was with him in Lagos State as commissioner.
Then for special duties and intergovernmental relations.
First as special advisor.
Okay.
Then I became the commissioner for special duties. For his term in Lagos, I was involved in that government. And I learned a lot when I was in the diplomatic service. I learned a lot because I traveled, I lived in so many countries. And I saw the diverse interest of so many people.
Diverse interest of so many people.
So we
Has that shaped your thinking, your life, one way or the other?
It helped because I don't discriminate. I don't care whether you are an Igbo man or Ibibio man or Yoruba man or Hausa man. I don't care. What I care about is you as a human being, not where you come from, not your tribe, not your language. I don't care. If you are working with me, let us work together for the progress of what we are fighting for and what they ask us to go and do. Like I said, when I was in diplomatic service in Nigeria, many of us there are Yorubas, some are Igbos, Hausas, and we live peacefully, we live together. Some of the best friends at that time was not even Yoruba man. I've had the Kenyan man as a friend, a very close friend. So who doesn't even understand my culture or my language? So here, I work with everybody, whether you're an Igbo man. And I learned a lot too when I was the chairman of all the state chairmen in Nigeria. That is diverse too, because you have people from South.
Indeed, it is diverse.
Southwest.
That's right.
You have people from Northeast, Northwest, North Central. Everybody they come from. And we live happily. We work together. And we achieved what we want to achieve. From AC to ACN to APC. We were able to achieve it. So it should not be, look at yourself as a Yoruba man or as an Hausa man. But get someone who can do the job. If I make money out of the leadership of an Hausa man, who cares? I don't care who is there. But some people want easy money. They want appointment. Whereas you can do your own bits on your own. We have some millionaires in this country who have never been a politician and who have never taken part in politics. On their own, they build themselves. Unlike now, everybody wants to be in politics because they believe that that is the easy way to make money. In the US, who cares? Nobody cares whether you are a member of the House of a Senate or a member of the House.
You're a congressman or you are
a
member of the Senate.
You see them on the road, you don't even know them. You find some people who have made so much money and yet they are not in government. Who cares? But here we make it as if it's life and death.
Okay, let me bring you, before we take a break quickly. You were a one-time diplomat. You represented this country in so many countries as a diplomat or an ambassador with plenipotentiary powers. Did that in any way shape your vision?
No.
Contributed to your beliefs?
No, I was.
Did that in any way also?
I was a diplomat.
Okay. Career diplomat.
Not an ambassador.
Okay. How did that change your perspective of life and what you represent today in what you do as a philosophy guiding your interactions, engagement with humanity?
Because I live with so many people of diverse culture. And for example, I was in the United Nations in Geneva, Nigerian Permanent Mission to the United Nations in Geneva. And we have Africans, we have Asian, we have Latin Americans, we have British, French, all sorts of characters are there. And if you can survive there for 4 years, and best friends are from other countries. And in Japan, I was in the embassy in Japan, and I have so many Japanese friends. That's having a different culture entirely. the blacks are very, very few there. At that time, very few. So, in South Korea, where I was also served, there was no Nigerian there, except some African countries, who were there, and some of them diplomats, and some of them have been staying there, representing their interests. At that time, everybody make do with what you have, because there you don't have gari, you don't have Nigerian food is very, there is none, virtually none, but you get do with whatever you get. So I have been to all this and I've learned so much from them that I believe that life is what you do with it.
Life is what you do with it.
When you have it, whatever you do with it or how you manage it is what it's going to become for you.
Whatever you do with it and how you manage it is what it will become for you. That was a lesson you learned.
Yes.
As a career diplomat. I'll take a quick break here and we'll be right back. And I want to thank you, viewers. Please don't go away. We'll be right back after this break.
Thank you.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. And of course, my guest still is Honorable Chief Otumba Henry Oladile Ajomale. My guest for today, with special attention and celebrating this iconic figure when we look at his celebration of 80 years of existence and still waxing strong in service to humanity by virtue of his experiences of life that he's been sharing with us, and of course his thoughts about what life is, what has been his philosophy, and this more. Well, let's still look at what we have together in understanding how this has shaped his vision, his thinking, and so many things that today he can look back to say God has not only been good but been faithful to him. I must thank you, sir, that this is a rare privilege and a very special interview with you. Now, there is no doubt that people know that you were not only an administrator, you are also a bureaucrat whose interfacing and engagement in the administration of governance resulted into quality service delivery in governance to the people. And that has been another referencing of a pedigree that you also hold so there. In any way, your thinking, your visionary thinking, prompted a lot of things they said in you, and I'm to ask this, they said I should ask. What motivated the way you served as an administrator, and even when you served as a legal practitioner, when you were active in where we are today in your service to humanity? That is still what you embrace for the good of mankind.
Well, I said it before. My upbringing is very important and very key to what I am doing now and what I intend to do in the future. Now, I thank God, like I said, on achieving that golden age of 80. But there are a lot of things that still remain to be done, God sparing my life. For example, life taught me so many lessons.
Life taught you so many lessons?
Yeah, because I know there are a lot of people who are not as privileged or as lucky as I am. And that is why at the beginning of this interview, I told you that I am grateful to God what He has done in my life. For example, my children ask me whether we want to celebrate the 80th birthday and holding a party. It's not that they cannot afford it or I cannot afford it. But I told them no, I don't want to do any party. Then they came back again and said, okay, we are going to do praise worship. And I said, okay, fine. If it is praise worship, I'm ready for that. I thank God. I would like to dance and praise God for what He has done. To be 80 is not easy, because when you count it from the day you were born to what you are today, it has not been easy. It's only by His grace that you get there. I have so many friends that we grow up together. Many of them are dead now. Many of them are what they are. But singling one out of millions of people, we should be grateful to God. I accepted to participate in praise worship. And we did that successfully. Party, I feel that money that you want to spend for party, you're going to get a hall, juju musician, wine, champagne, all this. Because those are you're going to invite important people. Fine? And those are not the ones that I need to see because they can afford it. You invite them to a party, many of them don't even eat outside anyway. So those ones, they don't need me. But there are others that I need to assist, I need to help. That's why we opted to assist because of the present situation in the country. People are hungry. And in the midst of that, you are throwing a party that can feed those who cannot afford it. So I opted for that. That all I want to do is to distribute food to less privileged. And we intend to support 7,000 families with rice, gari, indomie, and whatever, to be able to assist them. It's not only the husband that comes to your party that is going to benefit from it. The wife, the children will benefit from it. Even though it won't last for more than 1 week. It depends on how they eat it. Because we are giving 5 kilo bag of rice, 5 kilo bag of gari, 5 kilo bag of oil. That's what we are doing. And it's all in the Solo local government. We have already done 2,000 for 2,000 families. This coming Saturday now, we are going to do another 2,000 families in Ejibo. And finally, the next Saturday, we are going to do another 2,000. So, this I think is very important in view of the present situation of things. It's not that you can be throwing out, just throw out something that is not relevant. To those I'm going to invite, it's not relevant to them because they can afford to eat rice, they can afford to buy gari, they can, on their own, they can afford to buy everything. Wine, champagne, everything they want to do. But there are some people who are not fortunate enough to have this. So we try our possible best to join the government in the Renew Hope agenda of ensuring, of helping your neighbor. least to a certain level of what you can do. And that is what I believe. Some people may not, but that is what I believe. We are giving also to those who are not the disabled,
physically challenged.
They too are getting out of this.
So it's all about giving back to society what God has blessed you with at this critical
I
time.
believe that everybody should do that.
Everybody should do that.
Those who can afford it can
Okay.
do that. It's
All
not
right.
by throwing a party for 2,000 people so that can be meaningful. Throwing a party is not meaningful, but touching lives.
It's more impactful today. While commending that vision of yours, and of course appreciating your belief in that concern to be a voice of the voiceless, and of course a crusader of justice for the good of man, we must thank you for that. But by and large, one thing is clear, that you are a team player. How has that shaped your relationship in your journey of life?
Now, you are correct in saying that I believe in teamwork. Actually, you cannot achieve anything without having all these ministers and special advisors. One person cannot do it if you want to achieve. And I know that Ashwaju Bola Tinubu has a nose to choose brilliant people who can help him out of the doldrum which we are. The challenge that is facing today is Nigerian challenge. It's not only for him. Even though he told us that if he begged for it, that nobody should pity him. He's a human being. He is helping us. That is why we must help him. He's a man that God has blessed. The only thing he wants to do is to establish himself as a true Nigerian. If the economy is turned around now, within the next 1 year, then it's not only him or his family that is going to benefit from it, it's all of us. All Nigerians are going to benefit from it. That's why I'm saying that we must be patient. Yes, poverty does not respect patience. You want it now. But solution is never solved like that. It took Britain, after the Second World War, more than 30 years to have a semblance of civility in Britain after the Second World War. So we must learn that he is not a magician and he cannot perform the rot that has been on the ground for 15 years to turn it around in 1 year. Is that right? We should thank God that we have someone who wants to create the future for our children. You have whatever you have, use it for the good of the people. And people are acquiring money, even the great grandchildren has not been born. He has been acquiring money for them. So, what does it do? When I had some people who are stealing 15 billion, 18 billion, 22, 30 billion, What do you want to do with it? So to me, I believe that let us live by the rule of God and fear God for whatever you are doing. Because if you die today, you are not taking a cover. They saw someone who has paid for admission of his children who are still in primary school and paid for university admission for them. How do you know those children are going to attain that age when you are using people's money to go and satisfy yourself and your family? You have forgotten that one day you are going to die, and when you die you cannot take anything out, not a penny. When you think like that, Nigerians should start thinking that I did not bring anything and I'm not going to go with anything. So there must be limit to whatever you are doing to fear God. That what we are doing, your conscience must tell you that what you are doing is right or wrong. But you must choose the path of righteousness.
Choosing a path of righteousness. I must also agree with you in that perspective, sir, that indeed life is nothing. We came with nothing and will leave with nothing. But let me also take you through what you've just said here, that life is not a bed of roses, but you must struggle to achieve something in life. What lessons will that teach us? And what do we take away from such a statement?
It's whatever you take out of it. Because all of us has the grace of God. It depends on how you manage it. God is everywhere, and God is for all of us. There are some who are using the name of God for wrong thing. Those ones are not different from 419ers. And the small money that someone have, you sit down somewhere, you use your phone to dupe them. What is different? When you are using the name of God wrongly. I believe that whatever we do will go after us eventually.
Whatever we do will go after us eventually.
Eventually. Because you think that, I've gone out of it. But you may enjoy it now.
So
use the name of God anywhere where you want it. God is watching you. He knows. Some people may not believe it. You may be an atheist, as far as I'm concerned. But for me, I believe the existence of God in my life.
Well, we must let you go. But before we go, what do you do with your leisure time? Or how do you observe your leisure time?
I don't.
What food do you like best? Do you like dancing? Do you engage in whatever? Do you?
Yes, I do exercise. I do some exercise. And most of the time, I still hold series of meetings in my area. You still continue to help. Some people will still come to you for advice. And then you will do whatever you think is right for people. They will come to you.
Your best food?
My best food, what is it now? There's no food I don't eat. I don't have one particular thing.
Your kind of music?
Oh, yeah. I like traditional Yoruba music.
Like
any Yoruba music, Obe, Sonny, not this present one who really focus there. No, not those ones. But
At least some with good lyrics that will
exactly.
inspire and motivate
This
people.
inspiring music, like what Liube, Yusuf, and this Akbala music, and Sakara music. Those are the music.
Of the time then, and still what it should be.
People may say that you are old. That's why you don't like Focus Bear and all this music. Anyway, it's for the younger ones. But for me, I still prefer those ones.
You dress very well. That is another thing people said about you. You're always looking dandy, always looking cool, and always dressing nicely. What's the secret to that?
Oh, there's no secret. It was, like I said, I met so many people in life. And I love to dress well. Because you never can tell where they are going to meet you. The day you don't dress well, maybe that is the day you meet your in-laws or something. And they will think that maybe you are a madman. So
Okay.
you must always dress well. Because you never can tell
That's
who
right.
you are going to meet.
Your final words, sir, to say goodbye to us. You must leave us with a
My
parting word.
advice is to pray for you that you get to that old age.
Amen.
And then all of us must understand that age is not acquired, but given.
Age is not acquired but given.
Because you know, some people who are 30-something, 40-something, 50-something dies. And you can't say that because somebody is older than me is going to die before me. That is not what life is about. But if God spare your life to become old, 80, 90, and you use that old age for something better, then you have something to tell God when you see him there.
We thank you so very much for this time with us.
It's a pleasure.
Well, viewers at home, it's just the way we will call it a day again today on Issues and Trends. But today, like we said, it's not about talking about a particular issue of government policy or as it concerns governance or service delivery or this or that that affects social, political, economic setting of today. But it's all about celebrating a man whose footprint on the sands of time has become a legacy of referencing by those who have come across him and still waxing strong in touching humanity and mankind for the good of God and for the good of everyone. We thank you for today. We'll see you sometime next week.